I'm excited to announce the Idea Collective's Small Business Rebellion Chicago, presented by Relay Bank. Now, this is an all-new concept. This is a one-day event in August on Saturday the 19th in Palatine, Illinois. So what's the rebellion all about? Well, I'm leading a rebellion against the status quo, because the status quo thinks it's just fine if 50% of small business owners fail by year 5. Just fine. And they think it's just fine that small business owners think we should be competing with one another over collaborating with one another. And everyone seems to be okay with the idea that every time small business owners get together, we should look at each other as leads, not potential collaborators. No, I don't believe in that at all. And with the rebellion, we're not going to stand by and let it happen any longer. The Idea Collective believes that we can build our businesses together and make our small business dreams come true. That's why our tagline is "Don't grow it alone." So at the Small Business Rebellion event, we're going to bring together everyone in the community, and you're invited. We're also going to bring in workshops and keynotes, and we're bringing in a major keynote for a mind-blowing day of relationship building and revenue generation. So how about we say hello to our headliner, the man, the best-selling author, and a friend of the Idea Collective, Mike Michalowicz. Mike, great to see you, pal. How are you today?
It's awesome. It's awesome to see you, brother.
I'm so glad you're coming to the event in August, and I can't wait to see everything that you're going to bring to the table. The entire event is presented by Relay Bank, and when you speak, you're going to go above and beyond the ordinary keynote. Normally, the keynote comes in, they do their thing, and they leave. But you're doing a VIP lunch. You're going to deliver not one, but 2 keynotes. So what can we expect from you at the Rebellion event?
Well, don't expect me to cook the lunch because then everyone would leave right afterwards. But what you can expect is we're going to tackle, it's interesting, you're sharing that statistic that 50% of businesses fail. There's another statistic that's not talked about as much. It's the 50% that survive. 80% or more of those 50%, so the majority of the people who survive are living check to check, constant panic. The businesses become this anchor around their neck. And that's what we're going to fix. That's why I'm coming to the event. For the business owners who are in this constant purgatory in their business and are frustrated and exhausted, where the dream has become a nightmare. When I do events in keynote or whatever, and I do these informal surveys by a show of hands, I found out, Pat, that people start their businesses in general for 2 reasons, and usually both combined. The first reason is for personal freedom. I want to do what I want when I want. The other reason is financial freedom. I don't ever want to worry about bills. And it's ironic in a very perverted way that the 2 things we dreamt of never happen. Most businesses, the entrepreneur does not have personal freedom. They are entrapped by the business. They work their tail off. They sacrifice everything but the family, sleep, and they don't experience financial freedom. They experience impoverishment. They're struggling check by check. So we're going to resolve both. And I think the foundation is financial freedom. Until we have a financial assurity, we know where we're going confidently, and we see the money accumulating, we won't give ourselves the freedom to start working less to drive more results. I'm going to focus on those components of this event.
The ticket to financial freedom, that's something I've experienced firsthand. My wife, Abby, and her photography business has experienced it as well. We're both using the Profit First system. It's a relatively simple concept, but it makes a big difference. We get to hear the entire Profit First keynote, which is like magic. So when you explain this to someone for the first time, what are some of the things that makes them go, "Oh, wow, I never really thought of it that way"?
I think the key reason Profit First is so successful with small business owners and even larger is that the goal is not to change who you are, it's to channel who you already are. So the traditional approach to financial management is through accounting documents and accounting systems. We have to read the financial statements, we have to know the metrics, the KPIs, and all those types of things, which I am not diminishing the importance of those things, but it is not in synchronicity with how we work. Most entrepreneurs, and I've also done this through informal surveys, will do what I call bank balance accounting. We log into our bank account, we see how much money is there, and if there's money, we spend it. If we don't, panic ensues, and we try to sell. Well, that's our natural tendency. What Profit First is a system that intercepts, I call it a behavioral intercept. It intercepts the natural behavior. We set the system literally at your bank, and Relay, the online banking platform, is ideal for this. It intercepts us. So every time we log into our bank account, before we spend a dime, the money has been allocated to its intended use. So you know what it's there for. Another behavioral tendency we have is it's called the primacy effect. The next immediate thing in front of us is the most important thing. If I'm feeling angry today, I think I'm always angry. If I'm joyous, everything's always wonderful and joyous. If there's a lot of money, we think, I have a lot of money to spend on whatever is next available, and this is going to be the new standard. When there's no money, panic ensues. Well, if we pre-allocate money to its intended use, when a $1,000, for example, deposit comes in, we used to think we had $1,000 to spend on the next thing, but we'll carve up this money to its intended use so that we know someone's been assured for profit, someone's been secured for the pay of the owner themselves, our tax liabilities that will come, and then money will be left over for other things that we want. And it makes sure that every time we're making purchases or spending money, it's within the reasonable range that can maintain a sustainable company. But there's other behavioral aspects too. The biggest component is you are going to take your profit first. That starts building the muscle. You'll start seeing that a business of any size, you could do 50,000 in revenue, you could do 500,000 in revenue, you could do 5 million or 50 million. Any business of any size can become permanently profitable by their next deposit. And that's what I'm going to teach at the event.
If you're just joining us, we're talking with Mike Michalowicz, the author of Profit First and many other great business books. He's the keynote speaker for the new Idea Collective Small Business Rebellion Chicago event presented by Relay Bank. It's Saturday, August 19th in Palatine, Illinois, and that's right outside O'Hare International Airport. Like, you could practically walk to the venue from O'Hare. It's so convenient. So let's talk about Relay Bank, because they're the presenting sponsor of the event, and they're now the official banking platform for Profit First. What does that mean, and why is it so special?
So, interestingly, the biggest impedance to people implementing Profit First was setting it up at a bank. I have countless stories of people going to their existing bank saying, my banker laughed at me that I want to set multiple accounts. We don't do that. There was these fees being assessed. And so many entrepreneurs who could have got started with Profit First abandoned it on day one. And that's such a shame. They had to seek out a different bank or something like that. Well, I've been in contact with Relay over the last few years. And behind the scenes, my team and I with Relay have been developing the platform to work in perfect synchronicity with the book's system. So built from the ground up is how Relay approached their Profit First implementation. It is one-click simple, and it is the system. It's true to the system. They rolled it out in the last year, and it's been a massive success. I can't even count how many entrepreneurs have leapt to the platform because there's no fees. The Profit First system works inherently, and it's true to the system. Ironically, other banks have tried, without my authorization, by the way, but just tried to support it kind of from a roundabout way and have done it wrong. They don't have certain rules in there that ensure the system works seamlessly. And it's been problematic for people that have gone there. So I'm just really excited about Relay because, and it's my bank too now, I use them too, because of how well they've integrated Profit First. It takes the few remaining manual elements of Profit First that I implored readers followed on their own, and it automates all of it.
And, let's talk about that automation for a second. I saw that you can set it up to automate your money moves. So money comes into your income account and it will be distributed against all of the percentages inside the Profit First system. And you can set it up to do that automatically, right?
Yes, automatically, the percentages that you want, and Profit First teaches the system of changing the percentages at the frequency you want. Maybe you want to do it biweekly, maybe you want to do it weekly, maybe you want to do it daily or monthly. Now, I have suggestions and the rules are in there, but you can optimize that way. They even have fixed dollar transfers. So at certain times, you need to ensure a certain dollar amount is there before you do transfers. But the beautiful thing is they're not done. Relay is an online platform and it is developing further. So there's going to be iteration 2 coming out in the near future that's going to have your savings, if you choose, like your profit account, hidden from you so that there's no temptation to steal from it. These are all things I've taught in the book, and I'm so proud that Relay is implementing.
Mike Michalowicz is the keynote speaker for the Idea Collective's Small Business Rebellion Chicago event presented by Relay Bank. And the Idea Collective's message is simple. Don't grow it alone. And that's what we think about when we put our events together. This event will focus on relationships and revenue. So I want to ask you, as someone that's kind of light years ahead of all of us, when you think back in your business, I want you to think about some of those relationships and the folks that you've connected with over the years. How has that served you as you've grown your business?
Yeah. And let me just put a little asterisk here. I'm definitely not light years ahead of anyone. Because I think that's misconstrued, that some people say, oh, you know a lot more than me. I know different than some people, and those people know different than me. And the lesson is this: there is value from everyone in these groups. So what I do when I work with any collective is I don't judge people based upon the size of their business or the time they've been in business. What I do is what can I learn from them? I invoke curiosity. And I think that's the best part of a collective. I've been in a variant or a form of one ever since I started my first business I'm now approaching almost 30 years ago. And what I found is when I can get insights from other people, particularly who are not emotionally attached to my business, those are the most valuable. There's no way I can peel out my emotion from my business, and that is absolutely biasing my decision-making. I don't think it is, but I know it is. When I have other people giving insights, I look for common threads of what is the truthful answer when emotion is detracted or removed, and then I can make the most prudent decision for my business. So, and by the way, it's also a shoulder to cry on. Like, things don't go smoothly. Businesses do struggle. And it's nice to know that you're not alone. When I go home to my family, my friends, they don't own businesses. They don't get it. The second you make $100,000 in business, they think you're taking home $100,000. No, I don't have any money, but they don't get it. But I love collectives and that we can cry on each other's shoulders, we can understand each other, and we can support each other to move to the next level.
If someone upgrades to a VIP ticket, there's a very special book involved. Can you share that with us? Because I don't even know exactly how to talk about it because it's so special. But tell us about this secret book thing that we get when we have a VIP ticket.
Yeah, it's an all-nude review that I prepared for you, page by page. It's a calendar review. No, no one's going to sign up for that. The book is called All In, and it's not available yet. And I think that's why I keep it secret. It's available for pre-order, but it's not coming out until 2024. I am, of all my work, most proud of this book because what it shows is how leaders can build unstoppable teams. One of the most common reframes I hear is, hey, Mike, I want my employees to act like owners. How do you do that? And so I've been on roughly a 10-year quest to figure it out, compiling notes, researching, testing in my own companies. And about 4 years ago, finally figured out what the formula was, assembled it into a book, and it's coming out. So I'm going to deliver all the content from that book, and the book's coming along too.
That's amazing. And the folks that have a VIP ticket, are they going to get a copy of that book?
Yeah, they're going to get a copy of the book. Yeah,
that's
you're going to
incredible.
get a pre-release copy, which I don't know if you know this. There is, prior to a book being distributed through retail platforms, you can ask your publisher to authorize a release of about 50 books. It typically goes to the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times and gets distributed for media exposure. I've secured the books with my publisher specifically for our group. So sorry, New York Times. Sorry, Wall Street Journal. They don't like to feature me anyway, so it's kind of a poke to their eye. But that media copy, which is the entire book, will be handed over to each guest at the VIP.
Unbelievable. The Idea Collective Small Business Rebellion Chicago, presented by Relay Bank. It's coming on August 19th, and we get to see the man, Mike Michalowicz, in person. Mike, thanks for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you in August.
A pleasure, brother. Good seeing you, Pat.